return from executives. Good morning again. We have returned from our executive session. Once again, take the attendance just so ensure that we can ensure that we have a quorum. Andrea Comer.
Present.
Corey Betts.
Present.
Avery Gannis.
Here.
Sabera Gordon.
Here.
Michael Jefferson. Ojala Naeem.
Here.
Mark Pelka. Shirley Skyers Thomas.
Present.
Michael Jefferson. You're on mute. I'll mark you as present. Thank you. Kevin Walton. Ed Shirley. Kelly Marie Valeris. Melvin Medina. Andrea Hawkins.
Present.
Thank you. It looks like we do have a quorum, and at this time would like to move to vote on the social equity applications recommendation for approval. May I hear a motion to approve the following applications, which I will title ACR. I will just mention as Acre 0015682, submitted by INSA CT Realty Retail 1 LLC. Acre 0015678, submitted by INSA Connecticut Retail 2 LLC. Acre 0015679, submitted by FFD EJV LLC. AMF 0008273, submitted by FFD Pink EJV LLC. Acre 0015680, submitted by FFD Blue EJV LLC. AMHF 0008274, submitted by Connecticut Retail Solutions 1 LLC, and AMHF 0008275, submitted by Connecticut Retail Solutions 2 LLC. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is so moved. At this time, I'd like to move and get our executive director's report. Executive Director Clay, if you'd mind giving us a report, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy November. So my report this month will consist of staffing update, program updates, what's new, and our November goals. In our staffing update, I actually, just as you all were in executive session, received an email that our administrative assistant's first day will be November 20th. So that process has been completed. We are now in the process of creating and looking at evaluating the legal needs of the council. Most of the council is aware, and I guess now for the public, that Komla Matreve will be leaving the council. Today, in fact, is his last day, and I'll thank him at the end of my report. But in light of him moving on, we are working to evaluate our needs and post positions, and those positions should be posted by early next week. For our program updates, Cannabis Revolving Loan Fund, Community Reinvestment, and our community conversations. Under the Cannabis Revolving Loan Fund, we have received 3 applications from social equity applicants that were approved through the lottery. On December 1st, we will be opening up the loan fund to all social equity approved or provisionally licensed businesses, and those businesses have been notified that the application period for them will open on December 1st. Applications are available on the Social Equity Council website, and Jennifer Edwards is the program manager for the Revolving Loan Fund. Our community conversations, they are ongoing. Community Reinvestment Grant Pilot Program. So all of the grant funds have been decided at the local level, and our grant makers are now in the process of making public announcements of those award winners and the distribution of those funds. All of the grant award winners have been notified, as well as those people who did not receive grants during the process. So I have the dates here. Waterbury had theirs on October 24th. Bridgeport is November 13th. New Haven is November 15th. Stanford, November 17th. And Hartford is to be determined. That organization had one of their staff who was working with us very closely on this project went on to another uh, agency. So they had just a slight delay. And so we are working with them very closely to get the announcement done. And New London, I believe, will be having their announcement the 21st of November. Again, all of the grantees have been notified, and we did provide council members through via email talking points and information on all of the grant award winners for those that may get questions from your constituents and or members of your community. So we gave you the high level information on the grant making program. During the month of October, so you all remember in September, you gave me the authority to approve social equity plans. So during the month of October, 6 plans were approved, and they were for Fresh Perspective, Connecticut, Find Fettle, Norwalk, Find Fettle, Old Saybrook, Nutmeg, New London, CT Pharma, Newington, and New England Edibles. For the community conversations, as of November 3rd, over 630 people have attended community conversations in person. So conversations, I gave you the dates, the members of the council also have been invited to attend any of these conversations that they would like. And we have given you more detail in an email on the location and the times. But Waterbury had a really good conversation last Friday on the 3rd with, it was a citywide youth conversation. And then, as you can see, the other conversations are happening. We have one happening on the 14th in Spanish. So that's going to be, I think, a good conversation, a good opportunity for the Hispanic community to come, and it will be in Spanish, so it will not be in English, unless they someone needs a translator that chooses to attend that meeting. And again, the others, New Haven, they're ongoing, had a really good conversation. On Halloween night, provided kids in the neighborhood an opportunity to have a safe trick-or-treat night, a safe Halloween night, while their parents were involved in conversations with us. Hartford, we had really good conversation in Charter Oak, and as you see, other conversations are happening and scheduled. We are issuing probably today an RFQ for the next round of community conversations, and those will be in Bridgeport, Stanford, Ansonia, Bristol, Meriden, Norwalk, and Norwich, New London. To date, we have a community survey that is being circulated, and over 380 people have taken the survey at our last count on Saturday. The goals for my team, we will complete the community conversations round 1 by the end of November. We will update the reinvestment plan that is an ongoing activity for us now, and issuing an RFP for community conversations, second round of those conversations. Update the notice of availability of funds for grant makers, and we're just going to update the notification piece of it. Should the council decide that it wants to stay with the process of using grant makers to distribute reinvestment funds. We'll be updating the SEC org chart as we get our work moving along in the community. We may need some other types of positions. I think I would like to bring on someone who can manage the data. We're collecting a lot of information, a lot of numbers, a lot of statistics, a lot of data around the conversations, around the surveys. And so around the grant making and the impact that those grants will have in the community. And I want someone who's going to be able to take all of that data and interpret it and, put it in some kind of order that will be useful to the council's efforts. And we'll be posting legal positions. And in our next, at the next meeting of the Policy and Governance Committee, we will be presenting an updated social equity plan criteria. So as we are reviewing the plan, some of the criteria is not quite clear. And so we wanted to make sure that we update that so that we can present that to the public to give them an opportunity to read that and be even more clear on how social equity plans should be written and the purpose of them. The next committee meetings: Outreach November 10th, Reinvestment Workforce November 15th, Policy and Governance November 16th. The Finance Committee meets quarterly, and our next full council meeting will be on December 5th. So coming soon, we are working right now on the draft of SEC newsletter. We just, with the hiring of our outreach program manager, we are getting our outreach work up and running, communications plans, outreach plans, as well as we just purchased the subscription to Constant Contact. And so that will allow us to, and I think we've already sent a couple things out to the council to make announcements in a very nice looking way, and also to establish our Social Equity Council newsletter. And with that said, before I end my report, I just wanted to acknowledge Komla Matreve, our staff attorney, and thank him for the work that he has done on behalf of the council. We have enjoyed him. Komla has decided that he is going to move on to other endeavors, which we are very happy to support him in that effort. And just wanted to publicly acknowledge all the work that he has done in moving the needle and helping the council stay focused and stay on track. So Komla, I know you're on, and I just want to say thank you again and the best of luck to you.
Thank you, Director Clay.
If anyone has any questions, Andrea. Oh, sorry, through you.
Oh, no, that's okay. No worries. Thank you, Director Clay. Two things. One, wanted to echo the thanks to Komla. You know, he was here, I think maybe one of the first hires when we were literally trying to put this together on a shoestring. You have been consistently earnest and hardworking. I know that this was not easy. We were putting something together from scratch, and talk about baptism by fire. But you handled it with grace, and truly appreciate all of your contributions. So thank you for that. I also wanted to just ask Director Clay if you had any sort of early preliminary takeaways from the community conversations. Are there things that have bubbled up that you can share with us? I know there'll be something more comprehensive coming forward, but I was just curious.
So most of the conversations have been around, it's kind of not, I guess not surprisingly, but a lot of the conversations start out with trauma that folks from the community have faced and what they're still suffering through. And so they're still trying to figure out how do they kind of mend and heal from that. So that's something that we're actually thinking about maybe incorporating in our next round of conversations, is having just a kind of a brief discussion on the trauma and how the war on drugs has affected members of the community, just to allow them the opportunity to sort of release and to think big about the reinvestment possibilities in their communities. But a lot of folks are talking about there are no places for our teenagers to go or our kids to go. The lack of community facilities. Programming is very big. The organizing of programs, and those who are doing those programs out of their own pocket. So a lot of folks are working 3 jobs, and that 3rd job actually goes to pay for the program that they are running in their community. And so they want to know how they can not work 3 jobs and to run this foundation or run this organization that they're trying to start, or they've been working on, to continue to have meaningful impacts in their communities. So they're looking for help with, sustaining their organizations, building their organizations to be bigger and better, impactful programs and organizations that they can run on a full-time basis. Through you, Mr. Chair, I think Member Valeries has a question.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Valeries.
I also would like to thank Komla for your grace and your experience and your counsel to the council. So thank you very much, and we wish you all the best in your next endeavors. You will be missed. I do also want to share some positive good news. After a very long search, the Office of Workforce Strategy and Ginny Ray and her team have brought on a new workforce development coordinator. Tiffany Arroyo started Monday, and she had a pre-planned vacation before she took this job. So she is actually on vacation today through Friday. But we did spend a considerable amount of time on Monday at the offices of Social Equity Council with Ginny Ray and Karen and Komla, giving her a good foundational overview. I think you're going to be really excited to meet her background. She has been working in the medical usage of cannabis through the Department of Consumer Protection for several years, and she has jumped into this work with earnest and has gobbled up every piece of information that we've given her. She's poured through the state statutes, and her next bit of work is to really pour through all of the workforce development plans that all of the applicants and licensees have submitted, and then starting to work in earnest on developing programs that meet their needs. So she already has a lot of relationships that she had built in her previous position that she'll be able to utilize and springboard this work forward. She is very energetic and very excited to do this work. So I'm really looking forward to having her join us at our next council meeting or at the next committee meeting and introduce you all to her. So thank you for your patience in getting her on board. Now that she's here, I think we're going to be able to make some really good inroads in advancing the workforce opportunities that we can provide for people within our communities.
Great. Thank you, Councilwoman Villers. And on behalf of, I think I'd like to speak for the entire council, and I'll take the liberty right now to again thank you, Komla, for your unwavering commitment to the Social Equity Council. I know that there are many hours I've called you outside the bounds of time and days, and just can't thank you enough for, again, not only just a tireless effort, but the passion and enthusiasm that you've shown throughout, the ups and the downs, and just how incredibly helpful you've been not only to the council, but also to the social equity applicants who've had challenges that you've worked through, and just systemically worked through how we operate much better in conjunction with our executive director and team. So again, thank you so much. Doors always open. I'll throw that out there, and look forward to your continued success. Thanks again. With that, I'd like to shift to, is there any other questions for our executive director?
Hi, Mr. Chair, this is Mark. Real quick with just two questions, I think. Thank you, sir. And I'd be remiss if I didn't extend my best wishes and praise to Attorney Matrivi. I felt that I joined after significant work had occurred, but I kept hearing about all that the attorney helped to manage and assist with and work on. And so I came in hearing stories and accounts of just how hard he worked during challenging time in the initial setup, ramp up. And I saw every bit of that expertise on display through the months that have followed since I joined. So I joined the other members in wishing him the very best in his future endeavors. We're going to certainly miss not only the professional, but the personal contributions he made in working as part of the council and the staff. Through you, Mr. Chair, I wanted to acknowledge the executive director's inclusion of a timeline in the last report. I thought it was very helpful. The timeline relates to the reinvestment plan development, and that timeline was not in this month's report, and I don't think the executive director was asked to do so, so that's fine. I would like just to raise my desire for that timeline to be part of a recurring update. And I didn't know if the executive director has thoughts now on whether her report is the right fit for that, or some other subcommittee. Maybe it's coming up later in the meeting. I just don't know it, but I just would, I think it would be ideal for that timeline to be something that's brought before the full council at every meeting, preferably.
We're happy to do that. I do have to, I plan, so we're actually updating it. I didn't put it in this one, but we are doing some changes to it based on some work that we're already doing that has already been done. And so it will be presented again in fuller detail at the reinvestment committee's meeting and then updated to the council on a regular basis.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
And Mr. Chair, my second last question through you is the executive director mentioned data analysis capability, and I didn't I was hoping to explore whether the desire is for a contractor to do that work, or is that work staffing that the executive director is describing? I think it's a important part of the work that's ongoing, that data analysis capability. I'm eager to think through the best way to deliver that capacity to the council staff, and wondered if at this point there's been discussion of how that assistance is being sought.
Yeah, that is the discussion right now. It is. So we have, the council has approved 13 positions, and we have a budget for 13 positions. So my first instinct is to bring on someone that works for us and is always available to us with the data and can do the things that we need them to do on a regular basis, and pivot whenever we need to pivot. So that is my first thought. I have had at least one conversation with the chair and folks at DECD on how they handle data and what might be the best fit for the council.
Through the chair, thank you for your continued work on that and exploring with all the right parties, and I'm sure others that you didn't mention. So thank you for your ongoing work in that respect. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you, Councilman Palka. Any other questions for our executive director? Okay, with that, then let us move to our committee recommendations. I believe we have.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, through you, Councilman Jefferson.
Yeah, I don't have a question, but in the I do want to offer this a motion because I know Councilwoman Coma has a hard stop, and so do I, and so I wanted to put this motion out there to, based on our conversation in executive session. I was hoping to I want to make a motion to create this personnel committee, ad hoc or otherwise. I don't know how you refer to it, but that's my motion. And it was I guess I'm stealing Council Member Gaddis's thunder here, but that's what I would offer as a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Thank you, Councilman Jefferson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
And through you, Mr. Chair, can we just, I guess as a follow-up, to solicit from council members who would like to serve. We're also going to need a chair. I don't like to volunteer people, but I think that's some important business to handle at some point.
Thank you, Councilman Woman Comer. Is that something that we'd like to handle at a later time, or would we like to do that now?
No time like the present, I say.
Councilman Jefferson, do I see your hand up for that role?
No, my hand was up for based on the previous one.
But while you're talking.
Yeah, I think it's a sign.
Oh, that was
I'm just throwing it out there. It's a sign. Well, so all right. So
So I'm raising my hand not to lead, but to serve.
Okay, great. Then we will start there with Councilwoman Valeris.
I don't mind serving as well. I like to serve.
Okay. Fantastic.
Did I hear you say chair, or did you just say, I thought I heard, I don't know.
Did I hear chair or serve?
I like to serve.
Jefferson. Okay.
I like to serve, but I certainly don't mind chairing it.
Okay, so Councilwoman Hawkins also.
I'm happy to serve.
Okay, so Councilman Jefferson, you're willing to, do I hear willing to serve as chair?
I am willing to serve as chair.
I think we have something going here. It sounds like we have a plan. Do we need to vote on this or can we? I think we're
No.
good. Excellent. This is good progress. I love it. Is there anything else for the executive director? I just want to make sure that we covered that. All the accolades again to Attorney Matrevi. Will be, sitting on his doorstep if something really is out of our universe that I know he can handle. With that, let's move on to the committee recommendations. I think we have something from the policy committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Shirley, sure. Thank you.
The policy committee met in October to review revisions to the social equity criteria presented by the staff. The committee has agreed to recommend that the council approve the criteria as presented. A copy of the final revised criteria document was included in your meeting materials, and office hours were held to further explain the criteria to several members of this council. Upon approval by the council, the SEC staff will host series of webinars to explain the criteria and provide necessary guidance to the public. If there are no further questions, I would like to hear a motion to approve the revised social equity criteria to become effective on February 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion so moved.
Thank
Councilman
you,
Shirley?
Mr. Chair. Yes,
Councilman
that's all
Shirley?
I have.
Oh, anything
Yes.
additional? Are there any other comments or committees that we have not covered? Okay, then let's move to the good of the order. If there's any new business updates or information, I think Executive Director Clay, you may have had something. Or was that or did Councilwoman Valeris share our new addition to the team?
Yes, she
I didn't
shared
know
the
if there was,
addition.
I didn't know if there was anything else additional you might have had. So with that, if there's no other further business, new business updates or information for the good of order, I move that we adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
So moved. I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. Thank you all for your participation and thank you to the public for joining us. And we look forward to continuing the good work of the Social Equity Council. Thanks again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.